The first thing you hear is the breathing, thin, uneven, almost hidden beneath the rain. Mist threads through the bamboo like smoke, softening every edge. The stalks creak gently in the wind, leaves brushing each other with a wet, papery whisper. Your boots sink into mud that gives way with a quiet suction sound. Somewhere far off, a single bird calls once, then goes silent. And there, near the roots of a bamboo cluster, you see it, a panda cub, small enough to disappear behind a fallen branch. Its fur is soaked and clumped, its body curled tight, shoulders trembling as if the cold is shaking it from the inside. It doesn't cry loudly. It only makes that sound again, breath that stutters, like a tiny engine struggling to start. A man stands a few steps away, frozen, 50 years old, alone, the kind of alone that becomes routine. He hasn't left home in months, and now he whispers a sentence that surprises even him. "I can't leave you here." Earlier that morning, Wei's house had been too quiet. Rain tapped the window in steady, patient rhythms. The air smelled faintly of damp wood and old tea. Wei stood near the front door with his hand resting on the lock, staring at it as if it belonged to someone else. He wasn't dramatic about his sadness. No speeches, no grand declarations, just days that felt heavy, nights that never seemed to reset his mind. A calendar on the wall with pages that had been turned less and less. He put on his jacket because the silence inside his home felt louder than the rain outside. The mountain town was grey and washed clean. Fog slid between rooftops and climbed the hills. Wei walked without a destination, just following a path he used to take years ago, before life narrowed down to a single room and a single chair. The bamboo grove waited higher up, thick and green, alive with the scent of wet leaves and earth. Pandas depend on bamboo, eating for hours every day because it fills the stomach but gives little energy. In a place like this, the forest and the animals are tied together, fragile in the same way. Wei didn't come thinking about conservation. He came because his lungs needed air that wasn't trapped behind curtains. He walked deeper until the forest grew strangely quiet. Not peaceful quiet, unnatural. He stopped, listening. Then he noticed the first clue. Small prints in the mud, uneven, as if whoever made them had changed direction too many times. A stumble, a search. The rain was already softening the edges. Wei crouched, the cold biting his knees, and followed the tracks with his eyes into the bamboo. He heard it again, faint, close and wrong, in a way his body understood before his mind did. A weak, shaky breath. He pushed aside a curtain of bamboo leaves and saw the cub tucked low, trying to make itself smaller than the cold. Its eyes were open but dulled by exhaustion, blinking slowly against the rain. Wei's phone came out of his pocket, no signal. He looked up through the canopy. Rain was thickening, wind was sharpening. A cub, that small, can lose warmth fast. In weather like this, time becomes a threat. Wei didn't rush forward. He didn't scoop it up like a pet. He stayed low and spoke softly, keeping his voice steady. "It's okay," he said, like the words could build a shelter of their own. "I'm not going to hurt you." The cub shivered harder. Wei slipped off his jacket and held it open like a screen, blocking the wind. He positioned himself so his body took the rain first. For a few minutes, he simply stayed there, breathing slowly, letting the cub sense he wasn't chasing it. He scanned the grove for the mother, listening for heavier movement, watching for a larger shadow between the bamboo. Nothing. Fog, dripping leaves, the empty hush of a storm. That old helplessness rose in him again, familiar, heavy. Then something else rose underneath it, quieter, stubborn, a decision. "Just until I can get help," he murmured. Carefully, he used the jacket like a cradle, sliding it under the cub with minimal touch, keeping the movement smooth and low. The cub tensed once, then went still, too cold, too tired to fight. Wei lifted slowly, holding it close to his chest for warmth without squeezing, and turned back toward the trail. Mud pulled at his boots with every step. Rain ran down his sleeves. His arms trembled from effort and nerves, but the cub's breathing, small and damp against his jacket, stayed steady enough to follow. And for the first time in months, Wei wasn't thinking about how empty his life felt. He was thinking about the next safe step, one careful foot in front of the other. Under a cedar lower down, he stopped where the branches gave a little cover. He didn't set the cub on the mud. He kept it close, quiet, his own breathing controlled so he wouldn't add panic to the moment. He tried his phone again. 1 bar, then none, then 1. He called the first number he could remember from an old flyer near the market, the local wildlife hotline. It rang twice. A calm voice answered, "Wildlife response? Dr. Lin speaking?" Wei's mouth went dry. For a second, he forgot how to sound like a person who belonged in the world. "I found a panda cub," he said. The words came out rough, as if he hadn't used them in a long time. "Alone in the bamboo. It's cold. It's shaking." Dr. Lin didn't react with surprise. She reacted with focus. "Where are you right now?" Wei described the grove, the trail, the cedar bend. He spoke in short pieces, eyes flicking between the cub and the grey landscape around him. "Okay," Dr. Lin said. "You did the right thing calling. Do not feed it. Keep it warm and quiet. Is it breathing steadily?" Wei looked down. The cub's chest rose and fell, still shallow, still tired but consistent. "Yes," he said, breathing, shivering. "In this weather, a cub can lose body heat quickly," Dr. Lin replied. "I'm dispatching a ranger and a field vet. It will take time to reach you." Wei stared through the rain. The road into the hills would turn dangerous soon. "My house is closer," he said quietly, surprising himself. 10 minutes down. A pause. Then Dr. Lin's tone turned careful, ethical, clear. "Only as emergency shelter. Quiet room. Low light. No pets. No visitors. Minimal handling. Warmth without direct heat. This is not keeping. This is stabilizing." Wei swallowed. "I understand."
Aguente firme,
Good.
amigão. Vou te
If the
tirar daqui.
signal drops, go
Alô,
straight
consegue me
home.
ouvir?
Keep
Estou
the
na trilha
cub
do cedro
calm,
com um
and
filhote
we'll meet you
resgatado.
there. The
A
call
chuva está
ended,
forte.
but the
Aguente aí.
steadiness of her voice stayed in Wei's chest like a hand on his shoulder. He moved faster now, not running, just walking with purpose, careful on the slick ground. The cub stayed quiet, only the soft rasp of breath and the occasional tremor in its limbs. When Wei reached his porch, the house looked the same as always, small, still half forgotten by the rest of the town. But he stepped inside with something new in his posture, as if he'd crossed a line he didn't know existed. He took the cub to a spare room and kept the lights dim. He laid a thick blanket on the floor, folding it into a low nest, and eased the cub down gently. Then he sat a few steps away, back against the wall, hands resting on his knees like he was trying to remind himself to stay calm. The rain became a muffled percussion against the roof. In that quiet, Wei noticed details he would have ignored before. The sound of his own breath, the faint smell of dust and clean fabric, the slow dripping from his jacket onto the floor. He watched the cub, the way you watch a candle in a draft, looking for signs it might go out. A vibration made him flinch. His phone had found signal again, a message from Dr. Lin on the way. "Stay quiet. You're doing the right thing." Minutes later, headlights washed across the window. Footsteps on the porch, quick but not frantic. Wei opened the door to 2 figures in rain gear, a ranger with mud on his boots, and Dr. Lin carrying a
Doutora, como
medical
está o
bag.
filhote? Ele parece tão
Her
quieto.
expression
Ele
composed
está estável, mas
despite
fraco.
the
A
storm.
desidratação é nossa maior
"I'm
preocupação
Dr.
agora.
Lin,"
O que podemos
she
fazer?
said softly.
Vou administrar
"And this
fluidos.
is
Ele precisa de
Ranger
descanso.
Chen." Wei nodded, suddenly aware of how long it had been since someone had stood in his doorway for a reason that mattered. In the spare room, Dr. Lin crouched first at a respectful distance,
Ele está bem
observing
quietinho.
before touching.
Sim, desde que eu
She watched the
encontrei.
cub's breathing,
A temperatura
the
dele
tension
parece
in its
estável.
body,
O
the
que
way
ele
it held
precisa
itself
agora?
against
Só
the
calor e
cold.
silêncio.
"You kept it quiet," she murmured. "That helps more than most people realize." She put on gloves, approached slowly, and checked what mattered: temperature, breathing, signs of dehydration, stress. Her movements were minimal and careful, pausing whenever the cub stirred. Ranger Chen stayed back, ready but not looming. "This is emergency care," Dr. Lin said, glancing at Wei. "Not domestication. The goal is to stabilize and transfer." Wei's throat tightened. "I just didn't want it to freeze out there." Dr. Lin met his eyes, steady, appreciative. "And you were right." Thunder rolled closer. Dr. Lin prepared a carrier lined with soft material to keep warmth stable and reduce stress. The ranger spoke quietly into his radio about road conditions and visibility. "We need to move now," Dr. Lin said gently. "Before the mountain road becomes unsafe." Wei stared at the carrier, then at the cub, and felt something twist in his chest. An ache that wasn't only concern for the animal. This tiny life had already changed something in him, and he hadn't even had time to name it. "You can come to the center," Dr. Lin added, "not into the treatment room, but close enough to see it's safe and to understand what happens next." Wei hesitated. He hadn't gone anywhere with anyone in months. The house suddenly felt too small, like it was holding its breath. Wei looked at the cub one more time, small, damp, alive, and nodded. "Yes," he said quietly, "I'll come." The road to the rehabilitation center was a ribbon of wet asphalt curling through the mountains, headlights cutting tunnels through fog. Rain tapped the windshield in steady rhythms. We sat in the back seat, hands clasped tight, listening to the soft movements from the carrier at Dr. Lin's feet. Dr. Lin spoke without turning around, as if she knew silence could swallow him. "You're doing the hardest part," she said. "Not rescuing, letting professionals take over." Wei swallowed. "I didn't want to do it wrong." "You didn't," she replied. "You called. You kept the cub warm. You didn't feed it. You didn't treat it like a pet. That's responsible rescue." When they arrived, the center didn't feel dramatic. It felt quiet, an outpost of care. Low lights, soft voices, staff moving like gentleness was a skill they practiced every day. Wei was guided to a viewing area where he could see through glass into a simple room designed to keep stress low. No bright colors, no clutter, nothing to overstimulate a frightened wild animal. He watched as Dr. Lin and her team worked in careful steps, warmth, hydration, calm. The cub squirmed once, then settled when the room stayed quiet. "We stabilize first," Dr. Lin explained when she returned. "Warmth, fluids, stress reduction. Recovery starts when the body feels safe." Wei's voice came out smaller than he meant it to. "Will it survive?" Dr. Lin didn't promise miracles. She didn't soften the truth into something pretty. "It has a good chance," she said, "because it was found in time." That night, Wei went home alone. The house greeted him with the same quiet, but it felt different now, like a room after music stops, still vibrating faintly with what it held. Over the next days, updates came in small, steady pieces. "He's warmer today. He's drinking properly. He ate bamboo leaves, just a few bites, but that's a step." Wei began walking again, almost without noticing he was doing it. At first, just to the market and back, then farther, up the hill, along the road, toward the edges of the bamboo where the air smelled alive. Sometimes he'd stop and listen, not searching for another rescue, but letting the forest remind him there were things beyond the walls of his house. When Dr. Lin met him outside the center, the rain had eased into cold wind. Bamboo clattered softly like chimes. "He's gaining strength," she said, "more alert. Still cautious, which is good.
Is
We don't
everything
want
ready
him
for the
comfortable
return?
with people."
Yes, the
Wade
supplies are
nodded,
loaded. We're all set.
understanding
Good.
more than he
The
expected.
team will be here soon.
So, he
I'll
shouldn't
double
like
check the
me.
equipment.
Dr. Lin's
Supplies
eyes
are stocked,
softened.
ready for the return.
Exactly.
Good.
The best
traps are
outcome
set.
is
They
that he
should hold.
forgets you.
The
The
vehicle
word
is
landed
fueled.
sharp
We
and
can head
strangely
out. Let's
clean.
move. We need to be ready.
Forget.
Agreed.
We stared past her shoulder
A
toward
trilha
the
de
line of
volta parece
trees.
mais íngreme.
Then what
Tem
was the
certeza que está
point?
pronta?
He
Sim, os
asked before
suprimentos
he
estão
could
no
stop
veículo.
himself.
Vamos revisar antes
Dr.
de ir.
Lin
Ótimo.
didn't answer
Tá
right away.
carregado.
She
The
let the
weather's
wind
holding.
move
We should
through
be
the
ready.
bamboo.
Good.
She let
The
the
enclosure is
question
set.
breathe.
Is the kit ready?
The point,
Yes,
she
all
said
medical
finally,
checks are done.
is
We're
not
good to
for
go.
him to belong
Great.
to you.
The Rangers will be here
The
soon.
point is for him to
I'll
belong
monitor
to
the
the
release from the
forest
vehicle.
again.
Perfect.
Wei looked down at his
Preparando a
hands,
volta.
hands that
O
had
urso
carried
está
the
pronto?
cub,
Você está?
hands that had been empty
Sim,
for
ele
too
está.
long before
São
that
minhas
day.
mãos que me
He
preocupam.
realized
Elas
something
aguentam?
quietly
Elas
painful
carregaram o
and
urso.
quietly beautiful.
The route's clear.
Care
We
doesn't
should head back
always
soon.
end with being
Agreed,
needed.
but we need to check the
Sometimes it
supplies
ends
first.
with letting
Vehicle
go.
stocked. We can leave
The
in an
day
hour.
they brought the cub
Good.
back to the
Let's make
bamboo
sure we're ready.
forest, the air felt different, cleaner, lighter, as if the mountains had been holding their breath and were finally ready to exhale. Morning mist drifted low across the ridges. Drops clung to bamboo leaves and fell one by one, steady and patient. Somewhere deeper in the trees, a bird called twice, then the forest returned to its gentle hush. Wei stood beside the ranger's vehicle with his hands in his pockets, fingers curled tight around nothing. He wore the same jacket as that first day, dry now, and that somehow made the memory sharper. Dr. Lin touched the carrier lightly, her voice low. He's strong, eating well, steady breathing, good coordination, still cautious. Exactly what we want. Wei's throat tightened anyway. He remembers the forest. It's not memory the way we mean it, she said. It's instinct. It wakes up the moment the environment feels right. Ranger Chen checked the wind and the trail. We'll open the carrier near a dense cluster, he said. Plenty of cover. No crowding, no chasing. We let him choose. They walked a short distance into the bamboo and stopped where the stems overlapped thickly, offering privacy. Dr. Lin set the carrier down, turned it towards shelter, and stepped back. For a moment, no one moved. The only sound was the soft shiver of leaves overhead and the faint click of a droplet falling onto plastic. Wei's heart beat loud in his own ears. He expected something dramatic, a triumphant sprint, a perfect goodbye. But the wild doesn't perform. The latch opened with a quiet click, and the cub stayed inside, still listening. A small face appeared in shadow, nose lifting, drawing in the air. Its eyes blinked once, slow and thoughtful, then fixed on the bamboo ahead, as if the forest had spoken a word only it could understand. Wei didn't step forward. He didn't whisper. He didn't call. He simply let the moment be what it was, a choice. One paw tested the ground, then another. The cub moved cautiously into the bamboo, weaving into green, like it had always belonged there. Not fast, not dramatic, just real. For a second, it turned its head slightly, not a goodbye, not gratitude, just an animal checking the last shape behind it before committing to the path ahead. Wei felt the sting behind his eyes and didn't fight it. The emotion wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. It arrived like the mist, soft, inevitable, filling spaces he'd left empty for too long. He realized something then, standing in that damp green light. He hadn't been saved by a perfect ending. He had been saved by a responsibility small enough to carry, day after day, until it became a reason to open the door again. Dr. Lin spoke quietly beside him. This is what care looks like. We help them return to themselves. Wei watched the bamboo sway where the cub had disappeared. The forest swallowed the last hint of black and white fur, the way it swallows everything that belongs to it. And when it was gone, the clearing didn't feel empty. It felt complete. We exhaled, long and slow. And for the first time in a long time, the breath felt like it reached all the way down. He didn't promise himself happiness. He didn't promise himself a new life by tomorrow. He only promised one simple thing. I'll keep going, he whispered, so softly it might have been the wind. Because hope, he learned, isn't always a sudden bright thing. Sometimes it's just the courage to take the next step, quietly, steadily, back into the world. If this story touched you, subscribe for more AI recreated rescue stories told with care, respect, and quiet hope. And if you'd like, leave a comment. What moment stayed with you the most? The first trembling breath in the bamboo, the call for help, or the silence of letting go?
Próximo
This
passo.
story was recreated with AI. No real animal was harmed or placed at risk.